What is going on, guys? It's your boy Shady Mike Gaming, and in today's video we're going to be talking about how to edit your roster in NBA 2K24 to get better gameplay. Now, this video is basically a continuation of the release of my NBA 2K24 sliders. I'll make sure the sliders are linked in the description as well. Again, just want to point out that you do not have to do this process, but there are a lot of people asking me to walk you step by step through just so people can understand how to make the tendency edits that come with that slider set. The reason I say you don't have to do it is because I do provide a roster with the changes already made, but you know, say you want to make maybe an off-season roster, or you want to, make a roster of your own, or you've already got a roster that you already like. Maybe you want to apply these edits to that roster. Another really important reason why you really want to know how to do this process is because you really want to repeat the process when you're playing MyNBA every off season, and I'll show you why. Long story short, basically, anytime the players progress, all of the actions that we take are undone. So in this video, I want to walk you guys through the steps, the changes we make, why we make them as we go, and we will go from there. So I'm going to do this live. This video will be very informal. I am not going to be doing any editing. So basically, you want to start with your roster. Now, when I think about it, I make my roster outside of franchise, but if you wanted to start a MyNBA and just do all these changes in the MyNBA, I don't really think there's anything against that, but obviously then you'd have to do it every single time. I personally like just doing a roster. That way when I start my franchise, I can kind of just load up that roster. So we're going to walk through this whole process, and then we can go step by step with the changes that we make. So create your roster, we'll do Modern Era, and I'll just grab the official 2K Sports roster, and we'll go from there. So what you want to do is you want to tab over to all players, press start or the option key, whatever platform you're on. That'll go into the quick edit menu, and this is how you globally edit your roster. As you can see, I can move, and I can move values individually. I am on PlayStation, so I'm going to press X, and what this does is this lets me edit a column and put everyone's values up by 1 or 2 or however many I want. If you press X again, you see you can edit rows that way as well. But obviously for the purpose of this video, we're going to be editing columns. When you press triangle, you can go through the different views. So this is tendency view. This is badge view, durability view, hot zone view, detail view, and then we're back to tendency view. Oh no, sorry, this is attributes view. And then we can go back to tendency view. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be walking through step by step the changes that we make, and we're going to make them. The first set of changes that we make for the tendencies is to the close shot tendency. Shout out to my boy Power UG. He was the first person to tell me to do this. What we're going to do, and what I like to do, if you didn't know what I just did there, sorry, I want to make sure I explain that properly. I like to sort, and when you press square on PlayStation, you can sort highest to lowest. And you can see if you press it again, it's lowest to highest. I like to sort from highest to lowest if I'm ever putting something at 0. That way I know everyone below this value is going to be at 0. So we're going to be putting the close shot tendency all the way to 0. And we can go ahead and do that. And again, this process doesn't take too long, but once you get, the hang of how to do everything, I can edit a roster in literally 5 minutes. So it doesn't take long, but obviously this will take longer because, we're doing it for the video, and I want to make sure I show you guys exactly how this process goes and everything of that nature. So we're going to do our tendencies, and then we'll do our badges. So for this set, we're going to be lowering the close. We're going to be lowering the close left. For this tendency is close middle, and we're going to be putting that at 0. So obviously the first question that we're going to get probably is, Shady, if you put all of these values at 0, doesn't this mean the CPU is not going to shoot from these ranges? And the answer to that question is actually no. But what it does do is it stops the CPU from taking very odd, strange jump shots from this area. It makes them rely more on different types of shots, so hook shots, step backs, things of that nature. What this actually does is it makes the CPU utilize the other options in their offensive arsenal, as opposed to weird jump shots shots that rarely take place in this range anyway. By the way, if you need the list, obviously, of which tendencies we're changing right now, they are in the slider set video in the description. So make sure you do grab that as well. So the next tendency that we're going to change is the off screen 3 value. And for this, we're going to introduce a new, I don't know if you want to call it a methodology, or basically just a new way that I like to do things with these tendency edits. And this is going to be an upper or a lower limit. So basically a upper or lower limit, when you're talking about an upper limit, that means it's something that this value will never go above. If you're talking about a lower limit, it's going to be something that a value will never go below. It sounds like 10 times more complicated than it really is, but trust me, it's not. So for our off-screen 3 tendency, we're going to be applying a lower limit of 50. And that means no one in this game will have a value that's lower than 50. So you see the highest is 99, the lowest is 0. So what we want to do is we want to keep the highest at being 99, but we want the lowest to be 50 as opposed to 0. So how do we get these values at 0 to be 50, but keep this value at 99? We could just add 50, obviously, and that would get these guys up to 50. But what that would do is it would take any value from 50 to 100 and put it at 100, and we don't actually want that. So it's extremely simple, and that's what I was trying to explain, but it's hard to explain through text. All you have to do to apply a lower limit is subtract 50. So we're going to go take Clay from 99, and it's going to go all the way down to 49. And then what I like to do is I'd like to press sort again so I can see the lower end now. And you're going to add 50. And we'll get that 0 up to 50. And now, as you can see, the lowest person has 50, and Clay is right where he was, still the highest at 99. And this guy, Sam Merrill, is 99 as well. I don't know who that is. Okay, you might be asking, why do we change this tendency in the first place? The reason we change this tendency is what it does, what I have found that it does, is it gets the CPU offense moving significantly better. So they run more actions, more floppies, things of that nature, even if the player is not going to be shooting. Because you might ask yourself, well, isn't this going to make guys that shouldn't be shooting threes shoot threes? No, because the overall 3-point tendency is not being changed. So you can take a guy that's got a 74, but he's still got a 0. So you're not going to see them still pulling up for a lot of threes, if that makes sense. The next tendency that we're going to be changing is the contested mid-range value. And for this one, we are going to be applying an overall setting of 75 for everyone. So that means we're not doing an upper limit, we're not doing a lower limit, we are changing everyone in this game to have a 75 contested mid-range. Now, what I like to do there is I like to just sort from top to bottom. So the highest, bring everyone all the way down to 0. And we'll give that a moment to do that. And once everyone is at 0, I like to just raise it all back up together, up to 75. Easy. For contested threes, it's going to be the same thing, but for our new gen players, we're going to be moving this to 70. And for our old gen players, we're actually going to put this value at 100. Now, like I said, you don't need a different slider set from version to version, but this is one thing that I found. The old gen guys are just not as willing to shoot. And we'll get this to 70. Again, if I was on old gen, I would move this up to 100. So the next question you might be asking, Shady, why are you changing the shot contest? Well, it's simple. With our sliders, we changed the shot contest value. So with 2K, the default contests are so strong, players are almost rarely ever encouraged to shoot contested jumpers because they would miss with default sliders. Now that we've lowered the impacts of contests to be more in line with NBA basketball, we want NBA players shooting much more contested shots. You guys watch my gameplay. It's not crazy, but it's more in line with what we see in the NBA. So for the step back mid, we're going to be setting a lower limit of 50. So I like to sort to the top. Highest person is David Miller. He's at 91. We're going to drop this to 41. And then we're going to sort to the bottom, and we're just going to raise it up to 50. The reason we make this change is very simple. The CPU just doesn't take a lot of setbacks. You know, this is what it is. It's just something I wanted to see a little bit more in the game. Just wanted to see that happen a little bit more. Spin jumpers. Let's see if we can find that one. So these are spin jumpers as well. For this one, we set a lower limit of 75. So this one's much higher. If you look in my notes that I put in the slider video, you'll notice that I said, I don't even know that this slider, that this tendency actually works. I have, to this point, testing, never seen the CPU take a spin jumper. So something to think about. I don't even know if this one's worth doing it, but I usually do it anyway. So we set a lower limit of 75. So George Gervin is at 90. So 75, that's going to be 15. So we're going to drop this all the way down to 15. And then we're going to raise the lowest all the way up to 75. And again, this was something like I really just wanted to see the CPU do more moves. But yeah, it doesn't work that good because I rarely see this one. For the next one, this is a transition pull-up 3. The high is 65. The low, of course, is 0. We're going to set this one to 50 for everyone. And it's very simple. We just want players to be much more willing to pull up in transition from 3. It still doesn't happen a whole lot, but it happens like if the guy is open and he can shoot, he will. If he's open and can't shoot, he won't. Unless obviously it's like a dire situation at the end of the game, things of that nature. Yeah, so that was 50 for everyone. Now we want the drive pull up mid, guys. In terms of the sliders, if this is the literal most important value, we're going to set this one at 5, a maximum of 5 for everyone. So Brandon Miller is the top at 99. So we're going to bring this all the way down. This slider is extremely sensitive. Yes, you will still have guys shooting from mid-range. You guys have seen my gameplay. The CPU shoots from mid-range all the time. But this slider, if it's anywhere above like 5 or 10, it causes the CPU to do those stupid, weird, like free throw line jump shots. I think 2K just doesn't differentiate between what is considered a mid-range and what's considered a close, because it's just very strange where the CPU pulls up from sometimes. For the next one is the drive pulling up 3. This tendency kind of causes the CPU, once we make the changes to the contests, if this tendency is too high, it causes the CPU to just start chucking like crazy. So basically, anytime Steph Curry or anyone comes off a screen, they are just going to shoot it. So what we did here is for our new gen players, we set this value at 50. And for our old gen players, I found on old gen, they're not as likely to pull up from 3 off the dribble. So I put it at 60 on old gen. I was even going to test a little bit higher on old gen, but I'm not going to lie, I kind of ran out of time. So if you're on old gen and you set it to 60 and you feel like they're not shooting enough threes, feel free to test 65, maybe 70, but these sliders are insanely sensitive. So you don't want to do anything crazy, but we're on new gen right here. So we're going to put it at 50 and we got everybody in the league at 50. So that's our shooting tendencies. The next value that we're going to take a look at is the, let me scroll and see if I can find it. It's the putback tendency. So highest is 99, lowest is 0. We're going to set everyone in the league to 30. What this does, I felt like a lot of big men did way too many putbacks, and then guards almost never did putbacks if they were in position. So a putback is something anyone can do. So I wanted this to be something that people do in a reasonable situation, but nothing crazy. This is more of a balancing tactic. And I really, really like this value here because every now and again, you'll see more finesse players, kind of grab it and do a little bit of a layup back, and then you'll see your big slam it back. So that one works really well. All right, let's go ahead and move over to our handles, guys. When you watch my videos, you're going to notice and I just want to make sure I'm on the right one. You're going to notice the CPU on my videos be going crazy, doing a bunch of crossovers and things of that nature. I want to talk about the setup dribble tendency. This is the tendency. It's very important that you look at how it's named. It's the no setup dribble tendency. So what are the odds that the CPU will not do a dribble move? I don't know why this tendency is so high for people, but it's too high for most people. The people with the best handles, you'll notice, will actually have this lower. So for the people that it's really high for, basically means they'll almost never do a dribble move. And I get it. Big centers like Wilt Chamberlain, like DeAndre Jordan will never do, dribble moves. But I found that putting an upper limit of 50 for this still got the guys that were doing these moves to do them more frequently. And I don't have, Wilt Chamberlain trying to hit the sham god on me if I'm, playing against him. So we're going to set an upper limit of 50 for this one. And so all you have to do here is sort to the bottom. I think this is the first upper limit that we did. So you sort to the bottom where you're at 0, scroll all the way up to 50, and then sort back up to now it's at 100, and you're going to drop this down to 50. There we go. That way the lowest person has 0 and the highest person has 50 as well. So that one works pretty well. Next, we have the no dribble move, which is pretty much the same thing. It's just going to determine the chances that guys are going to do their dribble moves. You can notice Kyrie is the one with the lowest here. He's got the 0, which is exactly where he should be. For no dribble move, we are going to bring Kyrie up to 50. And then sort to the top and bring this all the way down to 50 again. All right, and that'll just give you a little bit more variation in terms of the CPU creating off of the dribble. You guys have seen some really cool clips of guys like Curry going crazy against me. I think it's got a lot to do with that. The next tendency that we're going to take a look at is the attack strong on drive. I have this at 100 for everyone. Simple as that. There's too much nonsense going on around the rim in 2K default. Guys are driving to the rim and just standing there. Do a layup. This is going to make guys, if they're driving, they're going to attack. Now, it does not mean that they will not still kick out to the open man. They do it all the time because a lot of guys have very high dish tendencies. This just stops the CPU from dribbling in the paint and standing there like an idiot. So I put it at 100 for everyone. The other tendencies that we have will balance things out. Okay, where are we at now? So the next one is flashy pass. I actually put this at 100 for everyone. Again, this is one of those ones, don't know if it works, to be honest with you. I don't know if this one works, but what it, the goal here was to get the CPU and your AI controlled teammates to be doing a little bit more flashy passes, but you don't see a lot of them. You see it every now and again, but it's still not incredibly common. All right, so the next tendency that we're going to edit is the interception tendency. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is optional, but it's not optional. Like, do it. You know what I mean? I don't understand why this is a tendency. Like, this is the odds that a player will attempt a steal while the ball is in the air. I put this at 100. If you have this low, like the CPU can literally just throw the ball right over your head. Like, if it doesn't matter if a player is a good player or a bad player, if a ball whizzes past their face, they're going to try and get some hands on it. So this is more of a balance to make the defense better, to make you think about the passes that you make. I like it at 100. That's a big part of the set to get the turnover numbers looking good. Guys are just really, more aggressive playing passing lanes because in the default, they just weren't doing that. We basically got the same thing for the steal tendency as well. Now, this one, the whole point of this is I don't want the user to be too comfortable dribbling the ball. 2K has a protect the ball mechanic for a reason. And I don't know why people don't use it, and I don't know why people think they shouldn't have to use it. If you have a dangerous steal man in front of you, they're going to try to steal the ball. That will obviously be determined by their ratings, whether they're successful or not, but this tendency will determine the attempt. And I want everyone to try and make dribblers uncomfortable, just to overall harass dribblers. If you're being harassed and you can't dribble, protect the ball. I get a lot of complaints about that. Oh my God, I'm getting ripped. I'm getting ripped. Yeah, protect the ball. Think about the people that you do dribble moves in front of. I'll tell you and show you why this balances out a little bit later. So other than that, and let's kind of get back to hold on, I'm just gonna sort this top to bottom again. Let's kind of get back to what we do to get back to the main screen. I think I passed it. Those are all the tendency edits that we make. So our game is now set up in terms of tendencies. Next, we're going to do the most important thing, which is the badges. Now, I want to be really clear on this. A lot of people had a lot of issues with the badge edits that I made. I think 2K, I forgot, I think they have 82 badges in the game. I think that's a ridiculous number. I also took off the majority of the badges. I think there are 11 badges left on new gen and 8 badges left on old gen. What I did in this process is I went back through and I evaluated personally the badges, every badge in this game, and made a decision based on simulation basketball on the ones that I want to keep in my game. You don't have to agree with that decision. You know, this was just what I found in my testing that made sense. My findings found that in my testing, these badges are not tuned for simulation gameplay. They are tuned for park gameplay. So some of these badges are ridiculous. What I'm not going to do in this video is I am not going to go through every single badge and determine why I kept it and why I didn't. There's too many of them. The video would be 3 hours long. But like, if you need to just think about some of these badges and the way that they work and how the whole goal of this set was to make ratings matter more and not badges to help players stand out. Like, listen, I'll give you the perfect example for one that I was really thinking about. Some of these badges make so little sense. And it's so important that you guys understand some of these things. Like, one of the badges I think that bothered me the most was the slithery finisher badge. The reason that badge bothers me is because it transcends space and time. It's going to give you a favorable layup animation, no matter what position the defender is in, no matter if he's running at you, no matter if he has momentum, no matter if you have momentum. It is just going to warp you across the paint so that you can get a smooth layup animation. I think it's ridiculous. It was the same thing with the bully badge. There's so many of these badges cause more issues than they fix. They're not tuned to simulation gameplay. Another one that really kind of stuck out to me, and this was, again, an opinion, and I know people will be frustrated with it, but it was the dimer badge. I think the dimer badge is one of the most utterly ridiculous badges that I've ever heard of in my life, right? People are like, what are you talking about, Shady? If I get a pass from LeBron James or a pass from Magic Johnson, it's definitely going to be more successful. They're great at setting guys up. And I get what you're saying, but what it's so important to understand is why great passers are great passers. Great passers are good because they find opportunities for their players to score. They're going to get you shrieking to the basket. They are going to know, hey, he likes to shoot it from the right corner. They're going to hit you coming off a screen at the perfect timing. That's what makes a great passer. It's the decision making. There's no magic involved, right? If I'm a 21% three-point shooter. No, forget that. If I'm a 11% three-point shooter, the fact that Magic Johnson or LeBron James pass me the ball does not magically make me a 29% three-point shooter. Or if I'm a 20% three-point shooter, the fact that LeBron's the one that threw it to me in the corner, I shouldn't just get like a 10% percentage boost because LeBron's the one that threw it to me. That doesn't make sense. I want this set to highlight smart gameplay, finding the open man. That's how players get their assists, not from a magical boost that comes out of nowhere. Again, a lot of people have different opinions on that. That's okay. That's why I'm walking you guys through this. You guys can do whatever you want with these types of sliders. It's perfectly okay. You know, I just wanted to kind of show you guys the process and how you can edit them. And from here, guys, you can take it and do whatever you want with the set. So, like I said, we're going to be removing every single badge except for the 11 that we chose to keep. Again, old gen has 8 because they don't have, what are they missing? They don't have blow by. I think it's whistle and I think touch passer are the 3 that they don't have that I still like. So it's really simple. I like to sort from top to bottom. So you see, for example, Acrobat, all the Hall of Fame ones, and I just like to bring it down so no one has it. Aerial Wizard, we're going to do the same thing here. But the first one, you are going to, for Agent 3, I want everyone to have a value of Agent 3. So for this one, all you do is you press your right stick up once as directed in the sliders, and it's a +1 to Agent 3. So now everyone does have this badge. Someone could have taken the time to go in and be more specific about who they want to have it and who they don't want to have it, but I really just wanted to make sure that I came in here and gave everyone 1 level of this badge, and everyone even goes up a level. So if you were gold, you'll be Hall of Fame now. If you were silver, you'll be gold. So things of that nature. I think the important thing to focus on here that I wanted to talk about is why it's so important to make these edits during every off season, because sometimes guys lose these badges. Sometimes they lose a level of the badges with progression. So in the off season, all you do when you make this edit, you know, because certain guys are going to regress and progress, all you do in the off season is go down 1 level and then you go up 1 level. And so that way, no one is like artificially, because you're going +1. That way, no one's like gaining a level that they shouldn't gain. And everyone that doesn't have it will then have at least bronze, if that makes sense. So the next badge, and we're going to keep moving through here. And like I said, I'm just going to stop at the ones that we are keeping. So Anchor took off. Ankle braces is going off. And ankle breaker. Ankle breaker is one that we keep. It just gives you, because we've done so much with the sliders, we're going to go +1 here. So I like to go down and then scroll up 1, and then it's going to be bronze. Again, you're not going to have Shaq breaking people's ankles because the other ratings will kick in to make that matter. But because we did so much to impact the perimeter defense with the sliders and, you know, eliminating bumping and things of that nature, but helping the defense be in the right position, we kind of need a way for elite ball handlers to separate themselves. I mean, this badge really opens the game up. They make ankle breakers happen every now and again. Sometimes they happen, and things of that nature. So really, I'm a big fan of that badge. I really like the way that it plays out, especially with all the different levels. So what you're going to notice me doing is I'm just going to sort to the top for all the ones we're not keeping. Then we'll just remove everything. Now, bailout is one that we are keeping, and we're going to go +1 here. Moral of the story, I just felt like the penalty for passing out of shots is just way too high. That's why I just raised it by 1. I just globally feel like that penalty is way too high. So I really like that badge, and we're just going to keep going through until we get to the next one that we're keeping. All right, so blow by one is a little bit different, and this one is extremely controversial. Now, earlier in the year, most of the simulation community agreed that this badge should be removed, and I get it. They were right. It's not a great badge because this badge causes a very, like, I don't want to say sticky, but it causes too many animations to trigger when you are dribbling. So you're like, Shady, like, isn't that your whole thing, getting rid of animations? Wouldn't you get rid of this? Well, No, I actually found the game to be a lot worse with this badge off. So I actually went against the grain here and gave everyone Hall of Fame. This is personal preference. If you want to try this and you don't like it, or you find you're abusing it too much, you don't have to do this one. But what I found without this badge is very simple. The CPU struggles too much to get to the rim. It's just the bottom line. The CPU cannot get by guys enough. This badge helped the CPU in transition attack the paint and in the half court break down elite defenders. It was, for me, more of a balancing mechanism, but I'm not going to lie, guys. If you get in a game and hold R2 every single possession with LeBron James and try to score 100 points, I don't know that you won't be successful. So, it's kind of like, the comparison I use is like Madden. You don't run the read option every play, right? Because, it's just very strong. So this is more of like an assist for the CPU, but there's no way for me to have the badge on for the CPU and off for the user. But I find it helps the transition game a ton. And I would go as far as to say that this set is kind of built off of this premise of opening the game up to make it look a lot like NBA basketball, guys. I'm sorry, there's not a whole lot of super tough defense being played on the perimeter these days. So I've got blow by on, and I've got it on Hall of Fame. I think you guys will like it anyways. So let's keep on going through. There's a ton of badges that we got to take off. So we'll kind of just push through this here, guys. And you just see this process. This is what we do. You do this to start your roster, and then you do it in the off season after guys have progressed. So we will keep removing badges. Again, 2K is just, at this point, they've got an insane amount of badges. I really feel like they have lost the script. I don't want to just come on here and just bash 2K. That's not the point of this video. I don't want it to be that. I just feel like, they might be a little bit misguided, and these badges, they take away too much from the actual attributes, the attributes of which are supposed to determine how these players play. So interceptor is one that we have on everybody. Is +1, kind of the same thing I was talking about with the intercept pass tendency. We just want guys making a better effort on the ball. So we will keep moving. All right, limitless range. This is one that's kind of controversial as well. I don't know if you guys know this. Like, I've seen a lot of people in the community like doing different things with this badge, but I was actually the very first person in the community that had the idea. I think it was in 2K17 or 2K8. No, I think it was 2K17. I said, what if we just gave the limitless range badge to everyone? And that's what we're going to do. We're going to give the limitless range badge to everyone. I give it bronze. I wanted to test silver, but I just never got around to it. You don't want to give everyone Hall of Fame because guys are going to start shooting from like half court. And the CPU never makes these deep threes. But what bronze is going to do is it's just going to like slightly extend the range in which the CPU is willing to pull from, and it really helps them in those situations. Because sometimes, guys, it's like the CPU won't even shoot it if they 1 foot off the line. It's really annoying. So a nice level of bronze limitless range really helps with that. So let's keep on going and taking our badges off. MIDI Magician is one we're going to give a +1 to. Everyone's going to have at least one level of that. What I found with MIDI Magician, I just feel like it's kind of the same thing with Bailout. I just feel like the penalty for pull-ups is a little bit too strong. I want pull-ups to be, very, very good for guys that actually take, pull-ups in mid-ranges and things of that nature. Just because, there are a lot of guys, like how often do you see in today's NBA someone taking a standstill mid-range jumper? It's just not common, guys. It's most likely going to be a pull-up of some sort. So that's why I really, I really prefer that one. So let's keep on moving through to our next one. I don't want to miss any badges. I did mess with physical handles a little bit earlier in the year, but I ended up not liking it, so I Turned it off. And we will keep moving through. Oh, this one. So post lockdown is a big one. Now, what I like to do for post lockdown is you want everyone to have this badge. And I take it off everyone and I just go +1. Everyone's going to have a bronze level of post lockdown. Easy. Guys, all this badge is going to do is stop the CPU from getting those bullcrap buckets off of like drop steps. Like, it's not going to make the drop step not work at all, but it is going to keep your player like in position to do a drop step. I don't know why like the CPU drop steps are so strong. It's like they never register with the players. Like when you guys see those like weird drop steps the CPU does that just gives them a free bucket under the basket. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. I wish I had a video example of it, but just having one level of bronze fixes that issue, I found, and that's why I did it. It was for that one reason only. So we will keep on going until we get to our next one. I know there's a lot that we got to take off here, so let's keep scrolling through it. And this is kind of an idea of why you can kind of see that, I don't know, guys, I just feel like at this point it's a little bit saturated. I think there's just a little bit too many badges available these days. Speed Booster was another one I tested earlier in the year, but I just found it was like buggy, it was glitchy, and it kind of seemed unrealistic. Touch Passer is a huge one, guys. It really helps the CPU ball movement. It kind of sucks that this badge is not on old gen. So obviously for my old gen folks, you know, you skip this one, but it just really helps the CPU pass the ball a lot quicker with some zip and move the ball. You can get some really cool looking clips off of, you know, the half court and the fast break situations and things of that nature. So I really like Touch Passer. We're going to keep it moving to Whistle. We're going to go +1. And to Workhorse, we're also going to go +1. And there we go. So we have now officially, I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. So we have now officially added all of the necessary badges to all of our players throughout it. And what you can see is that obviously the overalls do drop just a little bit. So, you know, Jordan was a 99, you know, he drops down a little bit. LeBron James, he's a 95 as well. Him and Jordan are both 95. I'm not gonna lie, and like I know this will piss people, you know, some people will be a little bit upset about that, but I usually come down here and just drop LeBron's intangibles to like, I think from 98 to 88. That drops his overall to a 94. I just respectfully, just as someone that knows basketball history, I just think it's a little disrespectful to have him in the same overall as Jordan. Won't be on my roster. You guys can do whatever you know you want with that one. I don't want to turn it into a Jordan debate in the middle of a video, but y'all already know where I stand on that one. So we can't have nonsense like that going on. So, you know, I just, you know, make sure that, you know, we do go through and fix that. So, all right, next up. So this is easy. So this is how you make your roster. This video is taking forever and I get that. I'm not editing this to be shorter. I'm not going to do it. But this process, once you get the hang of it, literally takes 3-4 minutes. It's not that deep. It's not that difficult, but I wanted to make sure I made a video where I walk through the entire process so that if people have questions, we did the whole thing from start to finish. Press start. Oh, I did it already. Press start, confirm your changes, save your roster, and you're good to go. So I'm not saving it because obviously I already did it and, you know, I don't need this. And there's already a roster like this on 2K Share under #Shady. Now, the next thing that I want to show you guys, I'm going to jump into a franchise and I am going to simulate all the way through the franchise. So, well, you know, what I'll do is I'm not going to save that one. But what I want to show you guys really quickly is when you go start a MyNBA, right? Start, blah, 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 pick one, just start a new one. You go to continue and we'll give 2K a minute with their plethora of animations, which is always fun. Like even in the menu they just overuse animations. Insane. Press triangle or Y if you're on Xbox to go to this other menu on the right. make sure you tick on custom roster, and then you can make any other changes. But I'm just going to start here just for, you know, for argument's sake. Grab whatever roster you want to use. For me, obviously, we're going to use hashtag Shady. Pick your team, blah, blah, blah. And you're going to go through, and when you start, it's going to ask you for a draft class. Now, you've got a couple options. You can load a draft class. Like if I wanted to load like a, like I know my boy Phil be making draft classes. Yoda is great too. But like if I wanted to load a draft class, like I could load it into here, and do it. If you want to edit, you can click edit and you can make all the changes we just made. But guys, you know what I find works the best? What I usually do is say you load a draft class, right? And I'm gonna take Yoda's, or I hope I'm saying his name right because I'm just a fan of his. So I'm just gonna start it. And what I usually do is I just sim all the way through the entire season. I don't make any edits now. Just sim through the entire season. Sim through the draft. Sim through all the, sim through it. But obviously, do everything you're gonna do. Do your off season. Do your free agency. Do your draft. Do your, everything until you get to the progression. Guys are gonna progress. Their badges are gonna change. Their tendencies are gonna change. And then after that, you've got all your rookies on the team. Everyone's back in the league. I just go back into the roster and make all the edits again. And you do that once every single off season and you're good to go. It's not a big deal. So that way you don't have to like kind of go through it. So really quick, I am going to cut the video here. I'm going to sim the entire season and we'll come back and look at what the roster looks like after we've actually simmed. All right, guys. So here we are. And I simulated season 2, to season 2. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's now 95, Jokic is 94. But for the most part, all the overalls look pretty different. But you can already see like almost all of the badges have completely returned. So we do have badge progression. But one thing I noticed too is a lot of the tendencies that we had zeroed out, if I can get back here. A lot of the tendencies that we changed as well are back to having values in them. So there are certain values that we don't want to be very high. Like for example, drive, pull up from mid, like we normally have like the max should be 5, but now you can see there's a whole lot of people that, have their value has already gone back up. So this does include the rookies as well. So that's why I say like it makes more sense just to kind of wait till the end. And that way you can kind of go through and do this entire process again. So that's what I recommend for year 2. And just, hey, once you sim through each year, one of the things you just get in the habit of is one of the first things you do. You just come on back and then, go back through and make the edits that you do need to make. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the video. That's how you edit your rosters. That's my entire process. That's what I did this year to try and get better gameplay. It's worked for me. Let me know if it works for you. If you guys got any questions, obviously, let me know in the comments. And yeah, thanks for all the support on the videos, y'all. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. It's your boy Shady. I'm signing out. Peace. Threes.